Welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new around here, make sure you are subscribing, smash a like. Let's have a like target of 900 and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. So there's been one word that's sort of been stuck in my head for the last few days and it's not disappearing. So I thought, you know what? I want to talk about it and I want to talk about it with you guys. And the word that's in my head at the minute is stability. And for me, the more I think about it, the more different doors are opening, but the more important that word is to me, stability. And you can look at stability and think it's stable, it's safe, it's controlled. And that might not be that inspiring of a word, but it's so important to Aston Villa that we are stable. And by having stability, it gives us opportunity to grow more, to push more, to drive. And I think in football, the word stability is very, very underrated. When we've seen that a couple of days ago with Unai Emery signing the contract. Yeah, the contract that was the contract from the extension from the original one. So, yeah, so he signed his little contract extension a couple of months ago, and then he's committed to 2029, which is very, very important because, again, stability, the owners can plan, Monchi can plan, Villa fans can dream. And as Unai said, there's no limits to our dreams, which for a very positive Villa fan, that is probably the most inspiring quote I've ever seen from a manager. And that quote is right on my desk here. So every time I do this pod, I can see no limits to our dreams. So anyway, stability. Why have I been thinking about stability? So take away the Villa side of things for now. And I'm looking at the Premier League as a whole now. And I'm looking at Chelsea. And I'm looking at Man United. I'm looking at teams that are challenging, Brighton. I'm looking at West Ham, who might be up there next season. I'm looking at Liverpool. And I'm thinking, are they stable? And my answer is no. My answer is no for a lot of those teams. And we'll start with number one, Chelsea. You know, I was thinking towards the back end of the season, Chelsea were going to be right up there next season. For me, they were going to be challenging top four the way that we're playing. Something had changed with Pochettino. The way he got them coaching, the way he got them running, the way he got them playing. It was absolutely amazing. You know, that Pochettino press was there. They were blitzing teams. They were playing so well. And I thought, you know what? He's cracked it. He's going to challenge next season. And what's happened? They've both parted ways. And they've gone in for Maresca, who has been at Man City, he's won the league with Leicester, had a big wobble last season. And now they're going into that unknown with Maresca. Let's just think about it. Pochettino or Maresca? And for me, there's a big difference already in what both of those managers would want and how they want to achieve things and how they want to manage and run their team. So I'm looking at Chelsea now and thinking, I have no idea what's going to happen with them. You've got Man United, Ten Hag. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Who knows? If he stays, he's a bad run away from being in the same position he's been in this season for me. I think that job is not stable whatsoever. I've not seen enough from them over the course of a season or 2 seasons now to think that they're going to be able to win a league. So I think they're in a complete mess still. I then look at Brighton. Who knows what's going to go on with them? You look at Liverpool, and I would be astounded if Arne Slot can get them firing straight away because he's not Jurgen Klopp. Moyes wasn't Ferguson. And you know how the story goes at Arsenal and what that was like for our manager. And all of those little different variations of if they start with a bad run, if things get a little bit negative, if they don't like the brand of football, all these small little things can mount up and become a massive, massive problem. So there's question marks over that one. West Ham, Lopetegui, is he going to be able to get it going straight away? Who knows? They've been doing pretty well in the league. You know, top 10 finishes, European football. Who are they going to be able to overtake? So I think that's an interesting one as well. And I'm even looking at Arsenal and I'm thinking, okay, the season before last, when they pushed Man City, it was, we've got to win the league next season. This season, they didn't win the league. Next season, like, what's going to go on there? Are they a bad run away from the fans having a meltdown? The fact that he's only won one FA Cup. So I could see that going pretty sour. So I think with all of that and all those unknowns and all those different scenarios, Pep potentially leaving at the end of next season as well, Aston Villa could have the best manager in the Premier League. And we could be in a great position. And this sounds stupid and this might sound ridiculous, but my manager has told me there's no limits to our dreams. We could be challenging right at the top end of the Premier League. We honestly could be. And I think as Villa fans, we've got to believe. I've seen nothing from Unai Emery to say that we will not be challenging for a Premier League. I have seen absolutely nothing. So that's where I'm at. And that's why I think stability from a Villa point of view, when all of these clubs have got all of these little question marks over them, Villa are doing fantastically well. We're going to do fantastically well next season. We're in the Champions League. We tunnel vision and we're going in that direction. Whereas all these other little ones, there may be one that I've mentioned that sort of does smash it. And you're like, bro, I didn't expect that to happen. But they're not all going to do it. So for me, stability at Villa is absolutely massive. Now, there's another thing that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about this because we get slept on quite a lot. Now, when I do TikToks and I etc., especially TikToks, we get a lot of different football fans commenting. And the delusion is real on some of them. The delusion is real. I'm about to show you a graphic, right, that tells me that we are a very good football team. Now, this was a mini league from last season. And this league shows the games against all of these teams, all of these 5 teams, when we played each other twice. So home and away against Arsenal, home and away against Liverpool, home and away against City, home and away against Spurs. And technically, there's 4 of the big 6, the big hitters. And Aston Villa, in the big games, finished top of that mini league there, where we'd beat Arsenal twice, we drew to Liverpool, we beat City, and we beat Spurs once. And this graphic is very important because it shows that in the big games, the proper big ones, we are a very good team against the better teams in the league. And I think this needs highlighting of how good Aston Villa have been. And we're slowly starting to bust this myth of the big 6. And what I also mean by that is the last 2 seasons, Aston Villa have finished above Spurs twice. Aston Villa have finished above Chelsea twice. We've now finished above Manchester United once. So that mould and that sort of big 6 of, I mean, how many years do you have to not be in the big 6 to get the hell out of there and let someone else be spoke about in that big 6? So I just think from a Villa point of view, we absolutely smashed that area last season and I absolutely love it. So another area that I want to talk about, I'm going to talk a little bit off field. So I'm going to put a bit of a disclaimer in here now that the off-field issues are purely based on my opinion, right? Now, this is probably the biggest area where there's conflicting views on off-field matters. So don't come at me They're just my opinion, right? And this is how I view our club as a Villa fan myself, okay? So I don't want the comments coming at me saying loads of shit. Just let's be nice, right? My opinion, you can share yours, and then we'll go from there, right? So, off-field stuff. Rumours that Aston Villa and V Sports are looking to be buying into Vasco da Gama. So we know that V Sports Enterprise, let's put Enterprise, that makes it sound a bit more bigger, doesn't it? V Sports Enterprise. So we've already got ZFC in Egypt. We've got Vissel Kobe. We have got Vitoria. Is it Vitoria? Sure, it's Vitoria. Vitoria. Right. Vitoria. Yeah, Vitoria. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Vitoria in Portugal. So we've got Vitoria SC in Portugal. And have we got any others? We've got the Vissel Kobe, ZFC, Vitoria. I heard rumours that we're looking at a La Liga team as well. Oh, we've got the Unais, Real Union. We've got Real Union as well. And we're looking to be getting Vasco da Gama. Now, the important part of this Vasco da Gama and multi-club ownership is got to play the game. You don't play the game, then you get left behind. Play the game. So multi-club ownership. But this one is quite important, this Vasco da Gama. Apparently Coutinho's going there as well. Dougie started his career there. So Vasco da Gama is interesting because generally it's very difficult for Premier League teams because of the work permits to get a player straight from Brazil. Very difficult. So this is interesting because that's why I thought we'd got this Portuguese team as well. Because a lot of Brazilian and South American players go from South America to Portugal. So the likes of Braga, Porto, Sporting, those types of teams. And then you'll see them going to like the Premier League. So it's interesting. We've got Vasco da Gama. Players could maybe potentially go there to Vitoria and then may go from Vitoria to Aston Villa. Good little pathway. And that's really, really interesting. Now, next part I want to talk about is the way in which Chris Heck spoke about knocking down the doors of the Big Six and just having a little overview of like what we do in sponsorship wise, because I think that's really important as well. And we all know that commercially and corporate wise, you know, when we spoke to Kieran Maguire from the Price of Football podcast, and he was telling us about Villa's off-field numbers, that we are a long way away from competing with Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, United. It's important that we close that gap. And by closing that gap, we'll bring bigger opportunities for Aston Villa. And me as a Villa fan, that is all I want. All I want as a Villa fan is for Aston Villa to be the biggest club in the world. I want it to be the biggest club in the world. I want it to be huge. I want this club to be absolutely massive. And we're slowly now venturing into different areas to help with us getting there. So I just want to touch on this and then I'll get onto some of more off-field stuff. I feel like I've got to talk about it because we've got this channel, and if you ignore some of those areas that people want to talk about, then I think you've got to talk about them. And whether you agree with what I say is a different matter. But for me, I feel like it's important that I do actually mention it. So I will mention it. Right, let's go then. So this was an article of an interview that Chris Heck did. So Aston Villa have more than doubled the value of key sponsorship deals for next season, with the club ready to kick the door down as they bid to disrupt the Premier League's Big Six. What a phrase. Kick the door down. I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, just boot it, man. Boot the door down. Right, speaking on a 2-day Sports Pro Live at London's Key Oval, Villa's President of Business Operations, Crick Head, said the club had spent the best part of a year identifying new partners, including kit supplier and front of shirt sleeve sponsor. As a result, Villa will kick off the 24-25 campaign with the betting brand Betano as their new front of shirt sponsor in the club's record deal, reportedly worth 40 million UK pounds over 2 years. So that is double what it was before. And that is absolutely staggering that money is coming in, and it's so huge. So, great deal. Betting sponsor, okay. It's not the best, is it? But 40 million, I don't think we're ever in a position to turn that down. Right. Trading platform Trade Nation, meanwhile, inked a multi-year pact reportedly worth 2 million a season to become Villa's sleeve partner last June. We've actually, activated another year on that. That came out yesterday. Well, Adidas is expected to replace Castore as a kit supplier in a long-term multi-million-pound agreement. That we already know as well, which is absolutely huge. So speaking on some stuff then, Chris Heck said, what we've done in 11 months, we've cleared up a lot of, let's say, not-so-great contracts. We have reinvented ourselves. We will be launching the next generation of our brand coming up in a few weeks. We have doubled our front of shirt deal. Plus, we have doubled our sleeve deal. Plus, we have doubled our kit deal. The big six is who we're chasing. And quite frankly, we're ready to kick the door down. I love it. I absolutely love it. Right, next phrase is a word that I imagine some of you are probably going to be fuming that the word brand has been used. And I'm okay with brand. I'm okay with brand because I think as a football fan, Villa isn't a brand. Like Villa's not a brand on the football side of things as a fan. When I go to Villa, I'm not watching brand Aston Villa. I'm watching Aston Villa, our football club. But outside of football, we are a brand, and we're a brand that we want to commercially, we want to showcase to the world of what we are. So in that instance, I'm kind of okay with that. Right, so next phase of this interview, we have we're spending a lot of money and capital expenses to renovate and rebuild and add to Villa Park, which was built originally in 1897. So we have some work to do. But we have this incredible building and this incredible opportunity to generate new revenue, and we see it through premium seating. Our core fan base, our general admission ticket, we would like to give them a better experience, a grander experience, without giving them the option to purchase more things, but by changing the standard routine. So if that means keeping the prices similar to what they are, then so be it. Our focus is on premium spaces. We have grand plans to add well over 1,000, closer to 1,500 seats this summer that are premium seating in products at Villa Park. So that's where we're generating our revenue from our core fan base by offering new things to purchase as opposed to mandating a new purchase. Right, that is all that we're going to be touching on that area. And now we're going to be talking about that area. Right. Now, I know that around 900 people have had a letter saying that they will have to relocate their seats at now their season tickets won't be able to be moved there, and they're going to have to move to a different area of Villa Park. Now, this is a very sad thing that on a personal level to the people that are having to do that, that's obviously a sad thing to happen. I'm not one of those people. I sit in Upper Holt K6, I'm having my seat's gone at the minute, so I'm like standing up. We've got rail seating coming, so that's what we've got coming. Right. So the beauty of football is, and we saw this when the lower grounds came in, that was an area that fans used to use, fans used to gather in, fans used to chat, have a beer, use that space to become part of their match day routine. I actually used to go in there as well. So I was one of those people that used to go in that space, not all the time. Like I used to go in probably, say if I went to 5 Villa games, I would go in there once. So for every 5 home games, I'd go in there once. So maybe I went in there 4 times a season. Like, didn't use it loads, but there might have been times where we did go in a bit more. So then that space went, and it went to the lower grounds where now you can sort of pay it extra to go in there, like with your ticket, or buy an expensive ticket and you get to go in there. So, that's a sad thing that happened in that area. And then, if you've been sat in your seat for 20 years and now you've been told you've got to move, I imagine that's a very, very difficult thing to, like, it's difficult to swallow, isn't it, really, that you're being forced to move because of, say, they want to put somebody there that's prepared to pay more money than you, and it feels like more money over your loyalty is what the club want to do. And I totally understand how that can come across. But then on the flip side of that, I've got the other side of it where I want the best for this football club. And if their football club feels like by putting more premium seating in there, by putting more corporate areas in there, that it's going to be able to generate the club more money, which in turn is going to be able to increase our revenue, increase our corporate revenue, and mean that Villa sort of go up more levels and close that gap to Man United and etc., then I can understand why the club are doing that. So I understand both sides of it. I understand why fans feel probably upset about it, because if you've sat there for years, then, of course, you're going to feel upset about it. But then on the other hand, we want the club to progress. And if that's how the club feel like they can get there, then I think we've got to just, unfortunately, that's the direction that the club feels like it's going in. And it's very difficult to talk about because I think you'll get both sides. So, you'll upset some by saying the club have got to go in this direction, but then other fans will feel like it's something that's got to happen. So I think it's difficult, and I think it's probably not an easy decision for the club to make, like writing that letter and sending it out. And, I saw some stuff about sort of people saying that, they could have phoned them, but like, I don't think the club are in a position to phone 900 people. That would take months. So, yeah, I think it's a difficult one, but we need the club to go in the right direction. We're in the Champions League. It's got to progress off the pitch. And at the minute, we're a million miles off it. So it's important that the club progresses and the club does go down that different avenue. So yeah, I think that the putting more corporate in the Trinity. Doug Ellis is going to be in there as well. I think the North Stand seats, I think they're putting more seats in there. That's why I think all those seats have been ripped out. So I've tried to chat about it. I've tried to give my thoughts and open the discussion for you guys. I know when we did that Monchi episode a couple of days ago, there was a lot of you that were sort of saying, what a great conversation that we can have. And I think that's why, we do some of these types of episodes, because it enables you guys to chat and talk in the comments as well and offer your thoughts. So hopefully I've opened up the comment sections. Hopefully I haven't opened a can of worms and, it's going to be terrible in there. So yeah, just share your thoughts on how you're feeling, etc. Hopefully, I think I've been quite fair on it. I think I think I've been fair, but I just wanted to chat about it, especially like the stability thing at the start. Like for me, that was absolutely massive to chat about that. I'd love to get all your thoughts. Comment your thoughts in the comment sections. Probably going to go off, isn't it? Like this episode, subscribe, up the Villa.